Hey everybody, this is IndieGeek, and today I'm taking a look at Growing Pains. This is a new platformer out on Steam from Smudged Cat Games, and it is going to be $4 for its opening week sale, $5 after that, and it is only on Windows, but I will have a link, of course, in the description to where you can play this for yourself. So I'm going to jump in here. I've played probably about 40 minutes or so, maybe. There's a tutorial, and then there are 9 levels, and on these 9 levels you've got 3 difficulties each, so that's what's going on here. That's basically what the game is. I think the real kind of draw to the game is going to be the leaderboards. And speaking of leaderboards, the developer, their previous game was another platformer called Gateways, which you may or may not know about, and I'm not sure how long this promotion lasts or how it works, but on the Steam page it says that if you can get to the top of a leaderboard in Growing Pains, then you will get a Steam key for Gateways. So I guess just a little bit of encouragement for the leaderboards, even more so than just the natural kind of encouragement that people have to get to the top. So as this is a platformer out in 2014, it's got to have a gimmick, right? Yes, that is true, because every platformer that comes out now has a gimmick. However, this one is pretty cool. I actually like what's going on here. And I should say right now, like, there are things about this that I like a lot. There are things about it that I'm not too keen on, I guess you could say. But, the things that I like are kind of the big important things. I really, really like the gameplay, and I like the kind of mechanic here going for this particular platformer. So you may have noticed that things keep getting larger and larger, and in fact we can look back and see our EFGH room, and we can see the D room, and we cannot even make out the ABC room anymore. We actually can control how fast we grow, so sometimes I'm going to get in a room like this, and like you saw there, we just grew really fast. It's because I'm playing this with an Xbox controller, can play with a keyboard, but I press the right trigger to grow, and you've got an infinite amount of ability to grow. You do not have an infinite amount of ability to stop growing, which is also sometimes important, although I've found to be not nearly as important, I guess you could say. I find myself purposely growing a lot more than stopping myself from growing, I guess you could say. But it is nice just in case you are kind of running out of time at some point. So, if you have not figured out by now, basically what's happening is we are collecting these kind of rainbow glow sticks, and once we've collected all of them, we can move through to the next section, and then this is our final end. So that is kind of a typical level of Growing Pains, and I'll play through a few more levels here, of course. As you can see, times are already pretty competitive. As far as like changing difficulty, what that does is it will make more obstacles. So, and that may have actually jumped me in on silver, which I don't want to do. I can do some of the silvers, but I'd rather stick with the bronze on camera, just so that I don't, don't embarrass myself here. But the other thing, so obviously you can see that we've got wall jumping. The other thing is we've got this nice physics mechanic as far as our jump goes. So it takes a little bit at the beginning to kind of learn the timing of it, but you can kind of bounce yourself after a jump in order to make your next jump go higher. And as you may have seen also, okay, well here's a good example. Anytime you die, you just start back at the beginning of that section. In these early levels, that's not a big deal. In later levels, that can basically kind of screw you over, because you might spend like way too much time and kind of grow way too fast, basically, to come back from it very easily. But I think that is kind of a pretty good overview of what's going on gameplay-wise here. And honestly, like I said, the gameplay is where I feel like this game really shines, which is what you want from a platformer. It's all about, how does it play, how does it control, and this one controls really well. So I would say that from a gameplay standpoint, this one certainly succeeds. And is not like very expensive either, and that's definitely a strong point about the game. It's only a couple bucks, and I think that it is pretty competitively priced in terms of a lot of platformers. On the other hand, some of the things that I am not so keen on are the music and visuals, which is really weird coming from me because I can get behind most, if not almost all, kind of visual schemes and things like that. I feel like there's just like not a lot of time maybe put into a lot of these visuals, and I don't want to make any assumptions, because I'm sure there probably was much time and someone worked hard coming up with how this was going to look, but it doesn't really work for me. When you look at this game, it looks like a game that you could find online, I feel like, and I don't mean that to be any kind of slight towards the game or slight towards free online games or anything, but it I think the problem is it just comes off as looking kind of generic, and the music feels kind of the same way, where the music feels a little generic. So I feel like from an audio-visual standpoint, it's just a little bit too generic for me. Like, the character doesn't look that interesting in my mind. The levels in general don't look all that interesting, things like that. But like I said, that's all kind of subjective. What matters here, really, at the forefront of everything, is how it plays, and it plays like really, really well. Really tight controls I've found so far, and I haven't had any complaints. If I'm dying, it definitely feels like it's my fault, which is what you want for a game like this. Okay, so there's not even anything in there. Sometimes that can happen. You can be kind of led on by an area, especially if you kind of hesitate on making yourself grow. So a lot of times it's actually a good idea as soon as you get to a new area to make yourself grow, just so you can kind of get the layout of everything. And I feel like as far as, like I said before, as far as the platforming gimmick here, I think it's pretty good. I think it's kind of unique. I haven't seen too many other games deal with scale like this, and that is one of the big strengths I can actually give to the visuals, is the way that you can actually like see your progress as you're moving on, because you can see as you look back like how much bigger you are, how much bigger this area you're in is compared to the area you were in last. And I think that's a really neat effect. I just wish that the music and the visuals had a little more kind of personality and style to them, if that makes sense. If you're thinking of like other platformers that really exemplify that, you'd think of things like Super Meat Boy, which like everyone can look and hear Super Meat Boy music, can look at the visuals and know that it's Super Meat Boy without doubt. This doesn't really scream that to me. It kind of just screams just kind of plain, I guess. And again, I don't want to I don't want to insult anyone who worked on the visuals or anything. So I guess that's just like the one thing that's really been keeping me from loving this game, if that makes sense. I like the game a lot. I don't necessarily love it, and I think that's where I would put it. And I like the game because the gameplay is really good. I don't love it because, like I said, the visuals and the audio stuff has not really drawn me in. That being said, I don't think if you're a fan of platformers, I don't think you can really go wrong with this game. It's like I said, got a really interesting mechanic. It is really well done. Controls are really tight. Everything feels really good. Ooh. And there's definitely a lot of challenge there as well. I may jump in and do one more level kind of later on in the set. I guess the other thing I could say is I kind of wish there were more than 9 levels. But, between the 3 difficulties, and obviously it's like a leaderboard driven kind of thing, maybe that's not too bad. Let's see here. It looks like the developers have gone in and put in top times on everything, which is kind of funny. Alright. So, yeah, I mean, I think that, honestly, that pretty much covers, like, everything that I need to say about it. I just wanted to show off, kind of where it goes, how the levels get a little bit harder. Stuff like that. And it does, like you see sometimes when I respawn back, it spawns me much larger. So sometimes it will do that because there's kind of a recommended size for each section. So a lot of times, like if I die, I will respawn and I'll be way bigger and then I won't die again. Because, you know, I just didn't realize going through the first time that I needed to be bigger. And I think that's kind of, again, going to come into play with leaderboard stuff, where people are going to learn the kind of general sizes that you want to be, I guess, for each section in order to get through things as fast as possible. Alright, also, I guess I didn't really mention, there are lives, and those don't become like an issue until you're playing on the harder difficulties, because, like I said, I finished all the levels on bronze, and I never, like, died enough times to have the game tell me you gotta, like, restart the level. So, I think, like I said, I think the lives really come into play on harder difficulties, because I did have that when I tried the first level on gold, which is the hardest difficulty that you can do. And sadly enough, I may actually have that here as well, because I had some pretty bad mistakes early on. I guess also if you're going for leaderboard times, there's certainly the possibility that you will die just trying to be fast as you're learning the fastest way through the levels. But, yeah, I mean, like I said, since we're coming up to the end of this level here, I'll kind of give the wrap up. Like I said, I definitely recommend this if you are a fan of platformers. I think kind of the big strengths are the controls, and, you know, the 9 levels that are here, while there's not like a ton of levels, the 9 that are here are very good. They're well done, and they are fun to play. So, you know, you kind of trade, I guess, having a lot of levels for having 9 levels that are super well done. So, I guess that's kind of the trade-off that you have to realize. Wow, yeah, I might actually lose it all here. That'd be sad, especially after just saying that that's probably not an issue. Ooh, okay, I made it. Yeah, but like I said, I think if you are into platformers, this is a pretty easy recommendation. It's a lot of fun. I'm having a good time with it. And especially if you are a leaderboard chaser, then I think there's a lot here for you. So, that's where I'm going to leave this one off. Like I said, there will be a link in the description to where you can purchase this for yourself. But, as well as that, always feel free to comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos from me every single day, and if you liked my video on growing pains, then please do consider clicking the like button. But with all of that being said, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.